wishes granted at Disney's Aladdin. Audiences and critics agree Aladdin is fabulous and extravagant. With unforgettable music and sensational dance numbers, it's exactly what you wish for. Get your tickets today and see for yourself the breathtaking spectacle that only Disney can deliver.
Tickets on sale now at playhousesquare.org.
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. It's Jimmy Davis and Stacy with Cleveland Stage Store. Stacy, good afternoon.
Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
I am doing great. It is a soggy day in Cleveland, like always, a typical March afternoon. And we have a special guest here, Brooke. Brooke, good morning, or afternoon.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Good afternoon.
So, Brooke, you're joining us. You're part of the cast of Sister Act at Weathervane Playhouse currently. Tell us more about the show. What's going on with you?
Well, yeah, I currently play Deloris Van Cartier in Sister Act at Weathervane, running until March 19th. It's going really, really well. If you haven't gotten your tickets, we're already, like, for the most part, sold out. But it's basically a show about sisterhood, and it's funny, and I don't know, I'm just having a great time. I'm having the time of my life, so, yeah.
I'm so excited that you guys are already almost sold out, and you should be. People out there in the world, if you have not seen the one and only Brooke Jai perform, you really should get to Weathervane and see her. She's one of my favorite people of all time. But
Thanks,
that being
Stace.
said, love you. But so this show, Sister Act, so many people are so very familiar with the movies. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg, Sister Act 1 and 2, and some of those songs that are in there are iconic to the movie. But I am to understand that the show has a whole different set of music and kind of a whole different vibe. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, if you've seen the movies, it's a kind of a combination of both Sister Act 1 and 2. But none of the music from the movies are in the musical. The musical has its own kind of like genre. So it's disco, it's 70s, it's based in the 70s, and everything's kind of based off of Donna Summer. That kind of, that era, that's kind of who Deloris Van Cartier is. It's really based off of. That's who she idolizes in the musical. And just, it's a lot funnier than the movie, too. There's a lot of punchlines and stings. So if you're coming in expecting the movie, expect it to be 10 times what the movie was, because it's in person and everything is like really, really amplified. So yeah, the music's great, the songs are great. I enjoy it. I think it's really fun.
I love that.
So one off question on that, Brooke, is what hair do you have of Deloris's? Do you have the big poofy hair? Do you have the smaller hair from 1 or 2?
I mean, so my hair's kind of wavy right now. So imagine this, but like 10 times bigger. It's really, really big. It's really, I don't know. The best way to describe it is Donna Summer. Like that's the look that our costumer Jason Smith, who by the way designed some beautiful costumes. I have a handmade sequin beaded gown for the bows. At the end, it's white. So yeah, it's very big. Everything about Deloris is big. Everything about her is bright. So if you're thinking Sister Act, I would say probably the first movie, but kind of toned down just a smidge, giving a little Diana and a little Donna Summer at the same time. 70s.
I love that.
Yeah.
How much input did you get into the costuming, the hair, the design? Because I know Weathervane has a spectacular team that like to work with your actors. So, like, did you get to do a little bit of, like, suggestions, or did they come to you and just have it ready?
The only thing I asked for was the white sequin dress. It was the only thing that they were like, I don't know if we're going to have time. Because in the musical, Deloris is on, like, every single scene. In the movie, she has a chance to break, and we get to break away into other character storylines, but the musical is really about her, so she doesn't really have a chance to like go off stage and really just sit. So I mean, I kind of got the input about the dress. That was the only thing that I had. Everything else Jason had. He's been costuming me since I was about 19, so he knew what I wanted. Like he knows what I like, so I didn't have to work that hard when it came to that. But yeah.
So that makes sense, because when I saw some of the promo pictures that were sent over, I was like, oh, this screams Brooke to me. So the fact that you guys have been working together, that's a testament to Weathervane's fabulous team, because they know their actors and they know what you guys want, and they give everything that they can to the character. But speaking of you, we've known each other for a little while now, and I did
Yeah.
not know this about you. As we were doing some research into you, you sang at the Vatican?
Yeah. Yeah, I sang at the Vatican. I was 15 years old. I was a part of this group called the Voices of Unity Youth Choir. It's located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, because I'm originally from Chicago, for those who don't know. I'm not from Ohio. And we were afforded the opportunity to be the first African American choir to sing like contemporary gospel music inside of the Vatican. When we
So
went on our
cool.
victory tour, yeah, because we won the World Choir Games, both competitions prior. So we were the reigning victors, and we got to go and sing in the Pope, not in the Pope, in the Vatican, excuse me. And it was the most humbling experience. I'm not Catholic, I am Baptist Christian, but a lot of our members were Catholic, and they got to take part in communion, and we got to sit through a real mass, and everything was in Italian, and it was hot. But the but the overall experience, you have to wait in a line. You have to go through so much security. They are very serious about the Vatican and the sacredness of it. And I think I appreciated that. So doing a show where I get to kind of pay homage to what I used to do or what I've had done and the experience, it's very, very humbling. It's a full circle experience for sure.
So did you take your time in that Unity Youth Choir, or Voices of Unity, right? Voices of Unity.
Yeah.
So did you take your time with Voices of Unity and push that into Deloris, who becomes the choir director in this show?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My choir director would be so proud. He's actually coming to the show. He would be so proud. But also growing up, my dad's a pastor. So I did get to direct the choir growing up in my church, and just Deloris, she just brings everything from her outside life into the church. And I think that's that's the storyline that might get missed sometimes. She doesn't change who she is because she's around a different type of people. She's still the same person, but finds within herself that part of herself that she was missing. So it's like very interesting to bring that all together, because she's still as dramatic and as flamboyant and boisterous as she is when she's singing in the nightclub, when she sings in the mass with the nuns. You know what I'm saying? She's the same woman, but she gets changed over time because she realizes, what she was missing in her life. And they give her that sisterhood. She's never really had friends, and she gets that, and she starts reading the Bible and praying and getting into that part of herself that she didn't really believe in because nobody really believed in her. So yeah, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful to be a part of. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I can't wait to see this show. I got tickets coming up. I can't wait to see this show.
When are you coming?
On Saturday, I will be there.
I have to
I
get
know.
ready.
Start warming up now, bro.
So, Brooke, question for you. So you say that you grew up in Chicago and then you went to New York City. How did you end up in Cleveland? Kind of like in the middle of the two?
Yeah, my dad. He's from Akron. My dad, and his home church is here, and he winded up becoming the pastor of the church he grew up in. And so we moved here my senior year of high school. I went away to college in New York. I booked a show. My first lead out of college was at Weathervane. And at the time, my grandparents, we had just found out my grandmother was diagnosed with dementia. And I was like, if there's one show she ever gets to see me in, she saw Memphis on Broadway for her 50th wedding anniversary. And I said, if there's one show she gets to see me in before she can't see it, it has to be this one. And so she was able to come and see it and know who I was and still be like, that's my grandbaby. And so then COVID happened. So I kind of got set back, but I've been back and forth to New York in the past couple years. But I don't mind Cleveland. I actually enjoy it. It reminds me of a mini Chicago. I actually really enjoy Cleveland. Now Akron, but Cleveland, I'll be in
I,
Cleveland. I like Cleveland.
I think
I
that's
like
the
Cleveland.
nicest thing anybody said about Cleveland. It's normally, where are you from? Cleveland.
Yeah.
No, I
So,
Mm,
go ahead.
sorry. So what would you say your favorite part has been so far? I know you've been in The Color Purple, you've been in Memphis, Rent, and now Sister Act. What's your favorite role so far you've played?
oh man. That's so hard. That is so hard. Felicia Farrell was my dream role. Mimi was a dream role of mine. I got to play her twice. Um,
Mm,
I would have to say it was probably Mimi. And I say that because my best friend was in the show. He flew up from New York to do it with me.
shout out to
And
Dennis.
shout
Hey.
out to Dennis. Hey Dennis. He's actually getting ready to go on tour in Europe right now. But my boyfriend got to play the drums behind me. It was just really an amazing show, and I met some really amazing people. And Ren is about family, and that first time that I did it, I really had a family. Like we had so much fun on stage every night, and they made me feel like I could fail and they'd have my back, and they always did. Stacy was amazing. I was just like I was like fangirling. I was so young, like 20, 21. I'm like, oh my God, this woman has like been everywhere and done everything. And she just took me under her wing, and it was just, yeah. Mimi was the first role I felt like I had a place in theater. And then Felicia was kind of the role that established my place in theater for me. So I
Mhm.
would say it's between the two of those.
And look
That's
at you
amazing.
going and go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I keep cutting you off.
So follow up to that is, what would your dream role be? What is the hope one day that you'll play?
Hmm. I've gotten to do, for the most part, every role I've ever wanted to play. But the goal would be to play these roles on a bigger stage. That would be the goal. Like, obviously, if they came out with a revival of Memphis or Rent, that would be amazing. But my dream role, I think, is a role that they haven't created for me yet. Like, I'd love to play Beyonce in the Beyonce musical. Like, I,
There you
I
go.
you know what I'm saying? Like that would be amazing. Like to play her in a biopic or to play Whitney in the Bodyguard, like something like that, something iconic. But I just tell people when they ask me like, "Why aren't you on Broadway yet?" It's just like they're not ready for me. They haven't created anything yet. So when they create it, I'll be there. I will be there,
Right? Just call me
100%.
up. I'm ready.
Oh yeah, when they create it, I'll be there. Don't let them say Beyonce 2025. I'll be there. I will be there. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I want to get into, because I've done a lot of theater, I've been around the process, but a lot of our viewers maybe haven't. What is your like go-to audition song? How does a typical like warm up into auditions go for Brooke Jai?
Hmm. Okay, like which auditions? Like New York auditions or like here auditions? Because they're kind of different for me. Um, so I'll do both. So when I'm auditioning in New York or when I get callbacks for shows and tours and stuff in New York, that process is really fast. And oftentimes I don't have time to like dwell on the fact like that I got a call back. Like the recent New York musical that's going up, I got called back for the Francine Evans standby, and I had 2 days to do a whole 10-minute self tape, learn how to play the keys for the specific song, all of that. So those processes are pretty fast. The process is here. I normally would get up, get some tea. I'm trying to get to the theater like at least 30 minutes before my audition, stretch, warm up, always pray. I'm a firm believer in God. I always pray. I never know what's going to happen. I plan out to sing Colored Woman. That is my go to. I have a 16 and a 32 bar cut. And I might walk on the stage and I might feel different and I might sing something else. So I really just go based off of the vibe. And I always have 2 to 3 options prepared.
Awesome. Is that
Always.
what you did for Sister Act? Was
For
Colored
sis
Women?
for Sister Act, I was gonna sing Color Woman, and I was like, that's not really Deloris. Like, she doesn't really have that kind of moment. I sang Let Me Be Your Star from Smash. And I had a cut from it that I did at my panel night in college, and I was like, yeah, that's gonna be the one. And it was the one. So yeah, yeah, that's what I did.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask this without being like too invasive, right? So,
Okay.
have you ever walked into an audition and walked out and gone, I am just I'm not getting that role. like oh that went terribly because I feel like you do really well at auditions.
Believe it or not, I used to be so terrified to audition. And I've been performing my whole life. I've been performing since I was 4. But I used to be scared to audition because it's like it's a make or break moment. You have one shot. Like, they're not gonna call you back with the potential and the possibility of you being good. They're gonna call you back about what you did in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of pressure. I have a lot of anxiety with that. But like, I don't know. I got to a point where I realized if they want me, they want me. So I don't really think like, oh, I'm not gonna get it. It's really just if I'm what they're looking for, they're gonna call me. And if not, there's another audition that I'm doing 30 minutes later, and hopefully I'll be right for that. So yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. But of course, there are certain roles that I really, really want. So I probably push a little bit harder in those. But yeah, it's a either you want me or you don't thing. I'm kind of cool either way.
I feel like that's the attitude you have to be successful in the theater is like either you want me or you don't, but I'm going to do what I need to do. Because if you walk in and you put all of your eggs in the basket of somebody else's opinion, you're not going to be able to hear the no's that eventually come with this, right?
Like, so much of my younger self, I wanted to give this to. Like, when I first started auditioning in New York, I was like, oh, there's 100 girls that look like me. There's 100 girls that might sound like me. She might have my resume, she might not. And I'm not a skinny girl. I'm very curvy. So a lot of the roles that I wanted were very skinny women. They weren't meant for me. Like, I was like, I'm never gonna play these roles. Like, there's no way. But with the change of Broadway and how they're making everything so much more diverse, I kind of just was like, I'm not gonna put myself in a box. And I'm not gonna let anybody tell me what I can and who I can't be or play. All of this is imaginary. My only goal here is to tell the story, inspire and help and heal other people. So if I'm right for their production, if I'm right with for their cast to help do that, then why not? But if I'm not right, that doesn't mean that I'm not good enough. That just means that we just don't click for this certain project. And I had to get okay with that. I had to get comfortable with that. Because that hurts. Like, you want certain things to work. You want to be a part of great things, but sometimes it's just, God might be shielding you from some shisty business or just people that are not meant to be in your aura. And I
Yeah.
like to keep my aura clear. So, I'm all for that positive vibes only.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. You have to be because there's a lot of times in this business that can get really intense. I think it's the part that people don't see when they come and they sit in the theater. They don't see the hours of blood, sweat, and tears that people have done to get ready and prepared. And they don't see the creative differences that people might have. And they don't see when a cast is really gelling and making magic in the middle of the rehearsal room that translates into that performance. So I feel like there's a lot of backstage stuff that Cleveland Stage Door is here to talk about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Brooke, what would you say your most embarrassing thing that happened on stage to you has been? What was the most embarrassing moment for you on
I
stage so
fell
far?
off a chair. I fell off a chair, and like, it wasn't a small fall. It was like I was going down. I was going down in the middle of belting. It was during Color Purple. During Push the Button, we had
Oh,
this like formation where they put these chairs around me, and I step up on the chair, but somebody didn't place the chair right. and I stepped up on the chair, and my heel was about like this big, and it got caught on the side of the chair, and I'm singing now, and I'm falling, like I'm not stopping, and then I get, finally get to the ground, get myself together, and then keep it pushing. But just in Sister Act, my whole scarf came off in the middle of the bedroom scene, and I was like on stage with a wig cap for like 2 minutes, and everybody was laughing because I had to put it back on. I was like, oh my God, my wig. And they were laughing, but I was like, for real, like my wig cap matches my skin tone, so I just looked like a little ball, like I already looked like a Q-tip. I had to put it back on. It was like too much.
It kind of fits the movie though. From when Deloris went to her room in the movie,
Oh, yeah.
she also had so that kind of matches.
Yeah,
there.
we were dancing, and they knocked me in my head, and I'm like on the bed, and the whole scarf just fell off, and I'm singing, and it's sliding down the front of my face, and I'm like, bless our show, and it's sliding down, and I had to put it back on. And Brother Superior's like, it's time to go, Deloris. I'm like, what? What'd you say, girl? Oh, my wig just fell off. Yeah, it was a whole moment. I'm like, this is
at least it's very in character though. Like that you cover up pretty well. I feel like falling off the chair is like everybody knows there's a mistake, but the wig falling off, you just like put it on, keep going.
Both times, I really was like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do.
Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. Brooke is currently in Sister Act at Weathervane Playhouse in Akron through March 19th. Tickets are available now online. Brooke, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. That was a fun conversation, Stacy. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got good people around you. Thank you guys for letting me come in here and do this. And Brooke, I can't wait to see you on stage.
I can't wait to see you. Thanks for having me, though. I really appreciate it. You guys were awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is Jimmy. That's Stacy. This is Cleveland Stage Door. Join us next time